Hello and welcome back to the Blackburn podcast. It's Mike giving you the match reaction. Mike's got the afternoon off. Well-deserved rest for Mike as I react to Rovers 2-0 comfortable home victory to QPR. Before we get into it, please like and subscribe. It makes a massive difference to the channel. It makes sure it finds its way into other people's feeds and it really does help us out. But enough of that rubbish. Let's get into the game. So, if truth be told, a drab first half. All the action was in the first 10 minutes or so. Ryan Hedges, I haven't seen it back on Sky, is my disclaimer. But from the Blackburn end, it did look like Hedges nicked the ball and the keeper brought him down. It did look like he exaggerated the fall, but how many players do that in the box if they're brought down? And Hedges, instead, was shown the yellow card from the referee. That aside, QPR should have been 1-0 up at least. Rovers, uncharacteristically this season, and uncharacteristic for a Eustace side, were quite lax in defence. There was a ball width to cross, 6 yards out. How QPR didn't make it 1-0, I don't know. And I'll be quite honest, I don't really care because I'm quite glad. The game then petered into the same pattern as against Preston. Rovers were moving the ball too slow. The tempo was not quick enough. There was lots of sideways passes. QPR, to be fair, held their shape quite well. They were quite happy for us to have possession of the ball along our back line. But Rovers just didn't do enough to quicken the pace up. There were 2 changes today. Harry Pickering replaced Owen Beck, who's suspended, and Andreas Fireman came in on the right-hand side, moving Ryan Hedges to the left for Lewis Baker, who dropped to the bench. But if truth be told, there was very little difference from the Preston game. Rovers moved the ball too quickly, and the creativity was severely lacking once again. Tyree Stolen playing in that number 10 role looked really lively and bright, though. I thought he harassed their back line quite well. He really did make every effort to increase the tempo, but he couldn't do it on his own. The game was petering out, and you just thought, right, we need to change this. This is becoming a pattern now. One-off game, you can accept it. This is becoming a pattern. We're lacking creativity. If teams sit in, are we going to be able to break them down? But that all kind of changed. 47 minutes, the second minute of added time in the first half, and there's a red card. For me, I'm going to say this, I'm a Rovers fan, but it looked like he overran the ball, lunges into the tackle, and he looked late. It looked, at the very least, extremely clumsy, if you're being kind. But for me, I thought it was a red card. QPR were down to 10 men. Varane sent off, not that one. And the game then goes into a half-time break, once again, with Rovers preparing 0-0 to face 10 men. What have they worked on in training? What have they decided they're going to do differently? Well, the answer was Todd Cantwell came on immediately. Harry Pickering went off the pitch. I thought Ryan Hedges had a really poor first half. If it was up to me, I'd have taken Ryan Hedges off. I'd have probably brought Ohashi into the number 10 role and brought Gay on as well. But aren't you thankful I'm not the manager? John Eustace is. He put Cantwell on the left of the 3 behind Ohashi and Hedges to left back. But Hedges wasn't playing as a left back. He was more or less, certainly when we had the ball, playing where he did in the first half. The difference being he played really well in the second half and was quite instrumental. Cantwell started on that left-hand side, but actually he was given a free role to get on the ball, a free role to decide where he wanted to influence the play, and influence the play he did. Todd Cantwell was absolutely instrumental in that second half. Rovers haven't yet seen the best of Cantwell. He's obviously come with no pre-season, really, no games to build up his fitness prior to arriving at Rovers, so all that's being done on the job. He played in midweek at Carlisle, and he came on at half-time today, and this is the first time we've really seen Todd Cantwell instrumental in a Rovers shirt. However, he wasn't the one who scored the goal. It was from the absolute goal machine, our captain, Lewis Travis. We got it quite early on, but what happened earlier than that was Rovers set their intent. They really did up the tempo. Against Preston, we were critical that the ball was moved too slow. Yes, they moved it side to side, which you've got to do to try and stretch the play, try and get those 10 men out of their shape against Preston. But today they did it with purpose. The other big difference was Cantwell was finding pockets of space. He was quickening the play up. He knew when to drop into the number 10 role. He knew when to drop into half spaces. And he really was finding himself in lots of space. And QPR couldn't, therefore, just sit in there 2 banks of 4. That led to the ball dropping to the edge of the box, and everybody screaming, shoot, and shoot he did. Travis, it got a deflection, but who cares? 1-0 Rovers, and then we were in control. Then we were able to drag QPR out of position even more, and Cantwell just really ran the show from then onwards. The second goal came from an absolutely beautiful ball from Todd Cantwell. Outside of his foot, found Danny Bath at the back post. Good finish from Bath, and that was 2-0. And at that point, it looked like Rovers could go on to make it 3 or 4. Gay came on in the 65th minute around there, and I was hopeful he would get his first league goal. It didn't come, but it didn't impact the outcome of the game. But it is something I'm starting to get a little bit worried about because he started to snatch at a couple of efforts. Rovers were comfortable, though. They didn't look in any danger. If anything, they were going to add to the score. They didn't really overexert themselves any further, though. They would have done if they'd have needed to, but there was no need. So Rovers passed the ball around, not at a leisurely pace. They made QPR work. They looked for openings, and there were a few. There was a chance for Dolan. There was a chance for Gay. There was a chance for Cantwell. The ball fell back to him, and uncharacteristically for him, miscued the ball. There was one where the keeper made a double save. How he kept it out, I'm not quite sure. And then Danny Bath had a header from about 4 yards out. Free header, looped ball in the air, and he managed to find the keeper's arms. But we'll let him off. All in all, the 3 changes that then came on, we had Cozy Dewberry came on, Ranky Costello came on to play at left back, probably the only position he's not really played much for Rovers. I'm sure he'll get a go in the nets at some point. And we also brought John Buckley on, but the truth, it was just about getting minutes in the legs. There was no real danger to Rovers until QPR broke, and it was a judge that they fouled Danny Bath. It looked a slightly harsh decision, if I'm being honest, but we'll take it. That's an unbeaten start to the season. Now it's the 7th game, 100% record at home. We're drawing away. That is promotion form. Do I think we're going to get promoted? I'm going to say no right now. However, I'm starting to have a little bit of, let's just say, hope. And that's what you need as a football fan. Off we head into the 3 o'clock kickoffs, but at the time of recording, we're second in the league. Rovers fans couldn't have dreamed of a better start, if we're being honest. We didn't know what to expect going into the season. There was lots of new signings, but right now, the bench was stacked. There's no Sigurdsson on the bench, Buckley's on the bench, Cantwell's on the bench, Gay's on the bench. Loads of ways to change a game, and yet again, the substitutes did it for us. I think Rovers are going to be resilient this season. They're going to be hard to beat. But actually, what I was starting to get worried about was the creativity element. But that changed today, and that changed with Todd Cantwell. And that is what I wanted to see in Cantwell. We've heard about how he can influence games. We've heard about what a good player he is. Today, we finally saw it. The Rovers at Blackburn End were absolutely serenading him for much of the second half, and rightly so. I think that might well be Todd Cantwell's moment in his Rovers shirt where he now gets his place in the team. Where that will be, though, I'm not quite sure. It'd be interesting to know your thoughts because Dolan's role in this team in the number 10, pressing, harrying, cannot be underestimated. And Cantwell off the left was a really good option, actually, in this game, but I think that was because Hedgie still gave us the width. So would you like to see Cantwell start the next game on the left? Are you worried about the width if that's the case? Could Hedgie start a game at left back if the other opposition had 11 men? All these things will break down later on the pod, but, well, we cannot ask for much more. 2-0, clean sheet, 100% home record, second in the table, albeit we've got a little caveat that the 3 o'clock kickoffs haven't yet happened. Got to be happy as a Rovers fan. Put your comments and thoughts into the comments. Like, subscribe. See you on Tuesday morning for the pod. Come on, the boys.